Hi everyone, this video is on exercise 9A question 5, and we have a helicopter which flies on a bearing of 80 degrees from A to B, where AB is 50 kilometers, and then it flies for 60 kilometers to a point C. So given that C is 80 kilometers from A, we want to calculate the bearing of C from A. Okay, this is an interesting question, and as always, in these types of questions, we need to start by just drawing the diagram. So first, we have A. So let's say this point is A, and then it flies on a bearing of 80 degrees from A to B. So if, for instance, here is B, and we always connect the two points, then this is the, let's say, north line from A, and this is the north line from B. So then this is the bearing of um, basically B from A, and it's 80 degrees here. Now, also the distance is 50 kilometers. The next part is that it then flies for 60 kilometers to a point C. Now, we have two options here because we can either put point C here at the bottom of B or maybe at the top. And it's interesting because the answer is going to vary slightly, but you will see what I mean when I solve that. So let's just first start from here. And so let's say this is point C. Now, if here point is point C, then we just need to match that to this, or maybe let's just put it slightly to the left of B. So here, now we have these lines. So BC is 60 kilometers from the question, and also AC is 80 kilometers. Now the question is basically calculate the bearing of C from A. So essentially the bearing of C from A, if C is at the bottom, is basically this entire angle. So we already have this portion of that which is 80 degrees. Now we just need to find this angle. And this is a cosine rule question again, because we have a triangle and we have three sides lengths known, and we just want to find the value of an angle. So we can simply use the formula cos A is equal to B squared plus C squared minus A squared over 2BC. Now we just substitute the numbers. So we have 80 squared plus 50 squared minus 60 squared over 2 times 80 times 50. And we basically get 0.6625. But remember that we need to find the cos inverse of that. So basically A is equal to cos inverse of this value. And this is 48.5 degrees. Now this is the this is angle A, but remember we need to add that to 80. So we have 80 plus 48.5, and we get 128.5 degrees. However, as I said, this answer is valid when C is at the bottom, but if C, let's say if we had C at the top, because there are two possibilities, right? If we had C here, then we would again make another triangle like this. Now the difference here is that the bearing of A from C in this case is only this angle. So essentially we would use basically another cosine rule to find this angle here, which is by the way going to be equal to 48.5. Here is also 48.5. And then to find a bearing, this time we would just subtract that from 80. So that's the difference. So therefore, as a final answer, we can just write 8 plus or minus 48.5. So that means we have two answers. Either it's this answer for the addition, or for the subtraction, when we subtract, we get basically 31.5 degrees, like this. So it's very interesting to take this into consideration.